I'm Huon Hooke, and this is The Real Review. The wine we're tasting today is Point Leo Estate Reserve Chardonnay 2018 from the Mornington Peninsula. So the backstory to this wine is that the Gandel family, who are very well known in Melbourne as property developers, they've developed shopping centres, commercial buildings, all sorts of things, and they're very prominent in the arts community as well in Victoria. They developed this farm down on the Western Port Bay side of the Mornington Peninsula, which is the opposite side to the Port Phillip Bay side. It's a colder and windier side of the peninsula. They developed this vineyard there some years ago, and at the same time they developed a magnificent sculpture park there, which contains large outdoor sculptures from many of the great artists practicing all around the world. It is really quite an extraordinary, I would think it's quite, not unique perhaps, but certainly in world class as far as sculpture parks go. Also on the property they've developed a big cellar-door sales complex with an excellent restaurant in it, which is called Laura. It's a hatted restaurant. It was a hatted restaurant as soon as it opened a couple of years back. The whole project is an amazing thing. They don't have a winery of their own. They have the wines made nearby at the Stonia winery for them, and I think Todd Dexter oversees them, but Michael Simons and Will Byron, who are the winemakers at Stonia, do a very good job with the wines. It's a real destination, Point Leo Estate, and I would certainly urge anybody who's touring the peninsula to go down and have a look. So how does this Point Leo Estate Reserve Chardonnay taste? Of course, to make the Reserve Chardonnay, it's not just any Chardonnay. They treat a certain block of their vineyard specially by dropping fruit on the ground and what they call bunch thinning, which means that you actually discard some of the bunches to improve the concentration of flavour in the ones that are remaining on the vine. Let's have a look at it. It's quite a light yellow colour still for a 3-year-old Chardonnay. It's ageing gracefully, I would say. The bouquet is very complex. It's got quite a lot of what I would call smoky sulphide type characters or reductive characters, overlying the citrusy fruit characters, which are lemon and grapefruit, typical of the Mornington Peninsula. And the oak is nicely trimmed. It's not too obvious, but it's there, providing complexity, extra character to the bouquet. Let's have a taste. Wow, that's an appetizing wine that really makes your taste buds stand up and say, give me some food. The acidity of that wine is quite pronounced. I suspect they have a partial malolactic fermentation, which means bacterial fermentation, which results in a slight decrease in acidity, but the wine still has crisp acidity, freshness, vitality, raciness on the palate, which is of course very important for a wine that goes with food, but also a wine that's destined to age well, and they hope this wine will age well. It's built that way. So there is richness on the palate, but there's also this raciness and this vibrancy to it, which is really wonderful. And the acidity is crisp and lively and stimulating without being sour or too obvious in any way. I suspect it will help it go beautifully with food. So how do we rate this wine from the cool side of the Mornington Peninsula? It's 94 out of 100, which is a very high silver ribbon, almost a gold ribbon score. Possibly with another year or two in the bottle, it might even get to the gold level. But it's a wine which initially started off being a little bit tight, and classically wines that are destined to age well start off quite tight and expand as they age in the bottle. We scored it 94, as I said. It was number 7 out of 50 Peninsula's Chardonnays from the 2018 vintage, which means it's a top rank wine. And we've said drink it from now until 2028, by which time it's 10 years old, and that's a pretty good yardstick for Peninsula Chardonnay. Really, really smart wine. So a food match for this wine. Todd Dexter, who is the man in charge with the overall control of winemaking, gave us the food match, and he suggested wood roasted chicken served with silver beet and king brown mushroom cream. Sounds wonderful. Cheers to that.